Hi, everybody, and welcome to our week number 9 Twitch live stream. I cannot believe that we are already in week 9 of our class. We are past the halfway point. It is hard to believe that that is the case. But welcome. Thank you so much for being on here. Is everything coming through okay on your end? Can you all hear me and see me okay? Let me just log in on this side here before I keep going. There we go. Everything coming through fine? Can you hear and see me just fine? I'm on campus, so sometimes the internet isn't always the best. So fingers crossed that everything is coming through clearly. If someone could let me know in the chat, that would be great. Just like a thumbs up or a yes would be amazing. Everything's coming through. I'm hoping yes. Somebody let me know if you can. If not, that's okay. I will keep going and hope for the best. But what I want to do today, give you a couple of quick notes of feedback from last week, and then, of course, talk about what you have going on this week. I give you that extra credit question, for this week as well. So I hope everyone is hanging in there as we kind of round into the middle of October. I know it's kind of the middle of the semester and everyone's probably a little bit on the tired side, but hang in there. October's the best month of the year, right? At least to me. I'm very excited that it is October. So anyway, let's go ahead and go over to Canvas together and take a look. So we are in week number 9 this week, but let's go back for just a minute and look at week number 8. Really nice job last week. We did have our second exam. We had a discussion. A lot of you did really well on the exam. That makes me very happy to see. I would like to continue to encourage you to use the exams as a learning opportunity. If you're doing well on them, keep doing what you're doing. If you wish you had done a little better, we've only done 2. We have 2 more to go. This is a great time to still kind of tweak things or make some adjustments. So keep doing what you're doing if it's working. A lot of you, as I said, did fantastic. We're going to continue to build on the materials that we've learned already. So everything kind of builds on each other in this class. So if you're feeling a little shaky on anything, now is a great time to review it before we keep going. Discussion number 8, also largely fantastic. A lot of you did a great job talking about your different sampling methods that you would use at the bookstore. A couple of the reasons that people lost points, just not quite giving me enough information. So when I said, how would you collect that type of sample, I was looking for you to kind of walk me through and explain it. And some people didn't do that, or what are some ways you could end up with a bias sample and just kind of elaborating. So for the most part, really nicely done. Don't forget to always elaborate and give me lots of information. Show off your knowledge and comprehension of the topic so that I know you understand. This week, we move on to chapter 10. So chapter 10 is our topic for this week. So as always, 3 things, right? You're going to want to read chapter 10 in the textbook, read my lecture on chapter 10, and then watch the lecture video for chapter 10. So chapter 10, if we click on this here, is our introduction to simple experiments. So we're looking specifically at experiments this week. What are the variables in an experiment? Why do they support causal claims? Types of experiments like independent group and within group designs, and some causality things that we can, and look at the 4 validities of that. So we're looking a lot at experiments this week and how we set them up and what are some of the elements of them and so on, different types of designs. So make sure you read through the summary or listen to it. On the Beyond the Book page, how to conduct an experiment in psychology. What are some of the steps that we need to do, developing our hypotheses, some final thoughts, and so on, kind of the whole process from beginning to end. And then on the last page, these are the terms that you'll need to know from chapter 10 for the next exam, which isn't obviously for a couple of weeks, but if you wanted to study one chapter at a time, this is a great opportunity for you to do that by knowing everything that we talked about this week. So make sure that you, again, read through my lecture on chapter 10 and then watch the lecture video. Right, this one, if you click on it here, is a YouTube link of me lecturing to these slides. So make sure that you watch that, take notes, pay attention. It will definitely appear on the exam. The other element that you have this week, like usual, is you have a discussion. So week number 9, we have discussion number 9. Let's take a look at that together really quickly. As usual, you have my instructions at the top with my rubric. You have my video here of some things to kind of pay attention to and some tips. The topic for this week is introducing simple experiments. So if you're looking at this, I want to give you a chance to play around with your own experimental design. I want you to come up with a topic that interests you. It does not have to specifically be related to psychology. And you're going to design an experiment. Pick something fun, right? This could literally be anything. It can be mildly inappropriate or offensive. That's all right, as long as it's nothing like too wild. But pick something that interests you. And after you've generated a clear idea, you're going to kind of describe that by answering the following questions, all 7 of them. So number 1, what are you researching? In other words, what is your hypothesis? What is it that you want to know? Kind of explain and describe. Number 2, what is your independent variable and the different levels or conditions? And what is the dependent variable and how are you measuring it? Number 3, how will you select your participants? Describe your methods and your procedures. This is something kind of piggybacking off of last week and some of our stuff with sampling. Is your experiment an independent groups or within groups design? Something you should understand after this week. Is your experiment a pre-test, post-test to only, repeated measures, or concurrent measures, right? Which one is it? Which type? And describe. What are your control variables? Are there any confounding variables? And what else will you do to ensure internal validity? Think about things like covariance, temporal precedence, counterbalancing, and so on. So what I'm looking to see is that you can take an idea that interests you and kind of frame it as an experiment, right? So if you really want to know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Does one probiotic work better than another one, right? How could you set up an experiment with different conditions where you're testing that probiotic? And what do we mean by work? Like, what are you going to measure and how are you going to operationalize that, right? And then look at how you would get your participants and what kind of study is it and what are your variables and so on. So looking to see that you can kind of put all of those pieces together. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with and what your topics are. That is discussion number 9. Don't forget, you also have one other small little component this week, and that is self-assessment number 2. So what I want you to do is take this. It should only take you a few minutes. You have as much time as you need, but it is worth a few points. What I want you to do is think about your progress and learning in the class so far. Are you happy with your grade? Are you happy with your effort? Is there anything you need to change or you want to keep the same? Just giving you kind of a chance to check in and monitor and kind of reflect on your progress in the class so far. And that should hopefully give you kind of a good opportunity to reflect and give me some feedback as to where you are at. So make sure you also do that. It is worth 5 points. So you want to make sure that you get those very easy 5 points right here. I will, of course, post a recording of this a little bit later today. You will see the recording of this live stream, and I will give you that extra credit question here in a moment. I do have a few quick reminders for you. If you are watching this later, remember to also double check this. But we are in week number 9, so a lot of you, a lot of you have fallen off of your subscriptions. If you can take a moment sometime today or this week to double check that. If you're watching this later and you would like to answer the extra credit question, make sure that you are subscribed. That's going to make it where you can still get those points. So take a few minutes to double check those things. I'd also like to point out that if you're looking ahead next week, our next live stream would normally be on Wednesday the 18th at 12:30. But next Wednesday is actually a campus-wide flex day. So we're not allowed to hold any kind of class or anything like that. I will likely just post a video next week since we won't be able to do the live stream at our normal day and time. So kind of keep your eye out for an announcement on that and for a video on that, which will be coming for next week. And if I do post a video, I will still probably give you an extra credit question in the video that you can go ahead and attempt. Okay, so those are my quick reminders for you for the future. I also have your extra credit questions, so let me post that here in the chat and then show you where you can answer it, of course. So this is our week number 9 Twitch extra credit question. which is what is the difference between independent groups designs and within groups designs? So what is the difference between independent group designs and within group designs? And when you're ready to answer that, you can head over to Canvas. And since we're in week 9, you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 9 right here. And then up at the top, click on start assignment. And this will give you that box where you can type your response. Oh my goodness, I can't type. Type your response and then go ahead and hit submit. And you'll get your confetti burst and moons today. 2 points of extra credit, hopefully. This is due by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. But thank you for those of you who are taking advantage of these opportunities. Those points are going to add up and be really helpful for you in alleviating some pressure or making up for something that you missed. So I'm glad a lot of you are taking advantage. Don't forget to work on the materials for this week. Don't forget the self-assessment. And then, of course, that extra credit question if you are interested. So I will hang out for a little bit if you have any questions for me. Otherwise, get going on the stuff for this week. And I will hope to see you next week if we do a live stream. If not, just make sure to watch the video of my announcements for the week. So thank you so much for those of you who join me. I'm going to minimize this so I'm not staring at myself. But thank you. I hope you are hanging in there and that you have a wonderful week. And I will hope to see you next week, or at the very least, like I said, have a video for you. Thank you as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful week, everyone.